Welcome to the Build Your Life Coaching Biz podcast, where you get to learn how to become a professional life coach and start an online coaching business from scratch. I'm your host, Krista Kathleen, a professional certified coach and spiritual business mentor. In 2016, I got divorced and left my full-time job as a registered nurse and decided to bravely answer my calling of becoming a life coach so I could help to change lives as I traveled around the world. And now I want to help you discover your purpose too. Having the freedom and flexibility to be your own boss and make as much money as you want right from your laptop will be one of the best gifts you ever give to yourself, your family, and the world. In these episodes, I'll give you real coaching combined with proven strategies and spiritual practices in order to help build your dream coaching business that feels perfect for you. Hey coaches, I am so excited to be here with you today recording. I feel like it's been a while since I recorded a solo episode just because I've been crazy busy with getting the new Born to Coach Training Academy students ready to start in the spring. And then I'm still, managing all the students from the fall class as well. And so this time of the year, the crossovers just makes my schedule a little bit fuller, but it's all good things. I am sitting in my new office at my home. It's almost done. When it's completely done, I'm going to do a reel of it. But I'm calling it my Millionaire Maven office because that's my big financial goal that I'm working towards, is to have my first $1 million year in business. And I was like, I always work from the kitchen and I'm always like staring at dirty dishes all day long. And I'm like, I need to have like a legit office space where I can focus and just feel really good. And I'm not looking at all the million things that need to get done in my house. These are, if you work from home, you're probably feeling me right now. You get where I'm coming from. And so this office is so beautiful. And the past couple of weekends, I've been working so hard on painting the ceiling and the walls and touching up everything and moving furniture. And it is just coming right along. And I feel so good being in here. So I can't wait for you all to see my new office. And so I want to celebrate something with all of you today. I officially graduated from my level 3 MCC coach training program that I've been going through the past 6 months. It has always been on my bucket list to earn my MCC credentials. So that's the highest credentials in the world at this time. There's nothing above an MCC. And with the International Coaching Federation, they're the ones that award these credentials to coaches. They did a survey in August of 2020, and there was only like 1,200 MCC coaches in the world. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to be one of those coaches. Like, I've definitely got a competitive side and I just freaking love coaching so much. And so I was like, how cool would it be to go for my MCC this year, train at that level? Had no idea what I was getting myself into or what it was even meant to, train and coach at the MCC level, but I just knew I had to do it. I knew it'd also be important for my coach training students as well. The more that I continue to further my coaching education and skills, the more that I can pass that down to all my current and future Born to Coach Training Academy students too. So, I was just trying to think, going for an ICF credential, it's a big deal and it takes time and, investments and energy. And so anytime I'm talking to coaches and they're deciding if they want to go for their ICF credentials or not, I always say, like, what would that mean for you to have that ICF credential behind your last name? And I think if you can't really answer that with a heartfelt answer, then it might not be the best idea to go for your credential. Cause like I said, you have to submit recordings, you have to take an exam, you have to wait for a long time from the ICF. It costs a couple $100s to get your initial credential. And then you need to renew it every 3 years and take 40 continuing credit education hours. And so, there's some commitment there. But with me, every time I've gotten a new ICF credential behind my last name, so I started off with my ACC, Associate Certified Coach. That's the first level. Second level is PCC, Professional Certified Coach. That's what I have right now. And then MCC stands for Master Certified Coach. And every time that I've gotten a new credential behind my name, I just feel better. I feel more legit. I feel more credible. I give myself pay raises. I feel like in my coaching sessions, I like put my shoulders back and stand up a little taller. And something inside me shifts. And I know that I don't need a credential to do that or feel that way, but it really helps me. And it's important for me. And so, yeah, you guys listening, you might not be the same way, but that's just how I am. It's how I work, and I want to honor that. So yeah, it's really important for me. It's why I got my Born a Coach Training Academy credentialed by the ICF. And I just feel like credentials can make a big difference in your confidence, your integrity, how you practice coaching, how you show up when you're coaching others. So, okay. That's my little soapbox there. But so yeah, I just graduated from this level 3 program, had an amazing experience. And I wanted to share with you all some of my takeaways that I had from learning to coach at the MCC level. Now, I do not have my MCC credential yet. What I need to do next is I need to get 2 solid recordings of me coaching someone. And what I'm doing is I'm working with a volunteer client right now, and she knows that I'm using our sessions to, submit them to my mentor for feedback, and then ultimate plan to submit them to the ICF to get assessed. And so every month, what I'm doing after graduation now is submitting a call to Jennifer, my mentor coach, to listen to the call with me. And once she has the yes, I know this would pass, then that's when I'm going to submit my 2 calls to the ICF. And then after that, after those calls pass, then I will get a link to take the new ICF credentialing exam. I've taken the ICF credentialing exam before, but for my ACC and PCC, and it's the same test for all credential levels, but they just updated it. And so now anyone who's not taken the updated version has to retake the exam to get a new credential. Otherwise, if they had not updated the exam, I would have not had to take the exam, I don't think, which would have been really amazing, because let me tell you, taking a 3-hour sit-down test is not my idea of fun. But I've passed it twice. I'm sure I can get through it again. So, and just so you guys know, something that they did change recently too is for a level 1 and a level 2 program. And so the Born to Coach Training Academy, we're a level 2. You actually do your final recording called the final performance evaluation. You actually submit that to your trainer, and they do in-house grading. So you no longer have to submit any calls to the ICF, which is awesome for people in a level 1 or level 2 program, because you'll get your results so much faster. And it's just, and then, yeah, for my students, if they don't pass on the first time, I give them 2 additional retakes. But with the ICF, if you don't pass a call, then you have to submit a whole nother one. You have to pay a $150 fee, and it's just a pain in the butt. But so with the level 3 program, they still have it to where you have to submit 2 calls to the ICF to get assessed before you can take the exam. So if any of you are thinking about going through a level 1 or a level 2 program, just know that you will not be submitting any recordings to the ICF anymore unless they change that in the near future, and they could, because they're always changing things. So, all right. So I'm looking at this thing that Jennifer gave us. Her name is Jennifer Powers. And she has it's the 10 MCC tenets. And it's kind of like the 10 core values that go into becoming an MCC coach. So I'm looking at those right now. And I just wanted to share with you all, like I said, some of my takeaways of what it's been like training at this level and going from PCC to MCC, because there definitely are some differences, and some things were actually easier than doing things at the PCC level, and then some things were harder as well. And that unlearning process can always be really challenging too, right? Because if I've been coaching a certain way for 8 years, and now all of a sudden I'm getting feedback like, you can't do that anymore, or that's not going to work at this level. And yeah, so that's hard to hear. And I definitely had some, I call them like existential crisis during the program, where it's kind of like you're erasing your mind. You're like wiping the slate clean in some ways. And so it's like for a few weeks there, I kind of just like forgot how to coach entirely. It was like, it was like the weirdest feeling. This has happened to me before. So I was just like, okay, I know it's all part of the learning process and it'll be fine. And I just had to like really talk myself through it. But okay, so the first MCC tenet is believe in and trust your client. And then there's the number 9 MCC tenet is get in the back seat. And number 6 is be a follower, not a leader. So I think all 3 of those, they're going to go with what I'm going to say. So believe in and trust your client, be a follower, not a leader, get in the back seat. So ACC coaches are going to be more, Jennifer described it, 2 hands on the wheel. They're directing the client more. PCC is going to be like 1 hand on the wheel when driving. So a client and PCC coach are seen as equals. They're seen as partners. And then MCC is taking both hands off the wheel, and it's completely letting the client drive the car, which really kind of takes a hit to your ego, because it's really like not about you as the coach anymore at the MCC level. And you really, really have to trust your client in a way that you never have. And I actually have to like make myself energetically and like physically lean back when I'm coaching at the MCC level. So that way, like no part of me is trying to take over and lead the session. And the reasoning for that is that the more that like you really step back, then that creates space to let your client to really step up in a way that they never have before. Because if you think about like the more that you're really trusting them, then they're going to like totally trust themselves and depend on themselves more and hold themselves more accountable. And it's been a really cool shift to see, you know, when I am coaching at the MCC level, how my clients like respond differently and say things differently and start doing things differently too. So that's been one. The next MCC tenet is inquire about being more than the doing. So with ACC's focus on the what, the problem that the client brings to the situation. PCC's focus on the what and the who, right? So the who is the client and the what is the problem. And then MCC's only focus on the who, the client. And the rationales for that is that when you help the client to change as a person, then the way that they view the problem is that they're able to completely take care of it and do whatever they need to do with it. You did it. You decided to officially become a life coach. But wait, what are you going to do first? Design a cool logo, build a fancy website. How do you figure out who your niche is? How are you going to find people who will pay you for your coaching? If you're feeling overwhelmed already, you're not alone. My name's Krista, and I'm a busy mom and sensitive introvert who's ready to share all my secrets with you of how I retired from my miserable nursing job 8 years ago and took that leap of faith to build a 6-figure online coaching business from scratch, right from my own kitchen. I'm here to help you put action behind all your dreams so you can succeed in the coaching industry too. I don't want you to be in the same place next year, hating your soul-sucking job and watching other coaches brag about their booked out schedules filled with dream clients who are paying really good money to transform their lives. Now is the time to answer your calling and turn it into a meaningful career. Inside the Build Your Life Coaching Biz in 7 Days course, I'm going to walk you through my easy step-by-step proven process while also guiding you to act on your own brilliant business ideas too. I want to ensure you're focusing on the right tasks first that are going to help you authentically attract ideal clients without having to be on social media all day long or use icky, slimy sales strategies that annoy people and will drain your energy. Whether you're a brand new coach or an experienced coach, the Build Your Life Coaching Biz in 7 Days course is the best next step for you to start signing on new clients, creating life-changing conversations, and making a really good living helping people from the comfort of wherever you want. Your bed, the beach, a ski lodge, anywhere with an internet signal. So it's all waiting for you here. Go to www.buildyourlifecoachingbiz.com/course to enroll today. Okay, so MCC coaches, we are focusing on entirely on the who, on the what, the being-based questions, instead of like the doing-based questions or the what, right? So an example of a doing-based question is like, what are you going to do about that, right? It's like external, it's outside of the person. It's like getting them to take action. The being could be what's your thoughts around that? Right? So thoughts would be internal. So I always think of it like internal versus external. So at the MCC level, we're asking more of those internal type of questions. You've probably heard the quote, change your mind, change your life. That's what we're doing. We're really working on the person's internal way of thinking, feeling, being, viewing the world, questions around that. The next MCC tenet is to leave space and slow down. So when you listen to an MCC session, there is so much space. Just letting the client talk, letting them sit in silence, letting them think and process. And for a lot of newer coaches, the use of silence is a really uncomfortable tool to have to learn. But then the more that you use and you get comfortable with it, it's so fun to use. And the silence is so challenging for your clients. Because if you think about it, like all day, every day, we're just running around crazy, doing. And then now you're sitting here and you're sitting in the quiet. And that's when this stuff is going to really come up that you've never thought of before. And it can be hard for the coach too, because the coach is going to feel like I'm not doing enough, right? I need to be like asking fancy questions, or I need to be giving advice or suggestions or making homework, suggestions. And you're not doing any of that in the CC level. You're leaving a lot of space for a lot of magical things to happen in that space. So that's been something I feel like I'm already really good at bringing in a lot of space when I do my one-on-one coaching. And so that felt really easy to lean into that and just do that a little bit more of a deeper level. The next MCC tenet is letting go of the need to ask questions. That's been a really, really challenging one for me because right, coaches, we get really attached to our questions, and we like really fancy, impressive questions that makes the client go, no one's ever asked me that before, or, oh, that's a great question. And so you're still asking questions at the MCC level, but the way you ask them, they're different. A lot of times with ACC and PCC, we can just like kind of think of questions out of the blue, or maybe we have a list of questions just to keep the conversation going. But like at the MCC level, it's a much deeper level of listening, and you're really hearing the words that the client is using. And then from that place is where you're forming questions, meaning that you can't have any questions prepared ahead of time. Because if you do, you're not going to be listening and you're not going to be hearing the client. And then on top of that, when we're letting go of the need to ask questions, then we can start to rely on other coaching tools as well. So we're going to start to be using more silence, more reflecting, more observations, more summarizing, metaphors, right? So you get to lean into, different types of coaching tools, which can be even more powerful than asking questions. So yeah, that's one I'm still struggling with, is like when I ask a question in my mind, I'm like, okay, is this a PCC question or an MCC question? So that's something I'm still working on. Let's see. Another one of the MCC tenets is to know nothing. So you literally have to show up to the container as the coaching container is like an empty vessel. And yeah, you can't be the expert here. And I'm going to be honest, like when it comes to business topics, it is so hard for me to not be the expert. So I specifically, when I asked for my coaching volunteer, I specifically asked for someone to bring me topics that don't involve business stuff, because it is so hard for me to stay in the coaching role and mindset when business stuff comes up. And my volunteer client, she's been amazing in bringing some really good, juicy topics to work with. But yeah, that's just something, you guys might be the same way, that you're going to bring certain tools and skill sets and certifications and knowledge and background with you into your coaching role. And that can be a good thing. And then sometimes it can also be a challenging thing as well. Like when I first started out as a pregnancy coach and I was a labor and delivery nurse, sometimes it was so hard to not want to show up as a labor and delivery nurse in those sessions with my client. So yeah, at the MCC level, you're not showing up with any of that. Like you are letting all of that go. And again, just showing up from this completely empty space, knowing that anything is possible, knowing that you can be with anything that a client gives to you, and just fully trusting that they're going to arrive at exactly where they need to be by the end of the session. And that you have just no doubt in your mind that the client can achieve and overcome and get to where they want to be. So yeah, there's a couple more MCC tenets, but I'm like not super partial to them. So I feel like we went through a lot of good stuff today. I don't even know how many things I shared with you guys, but yeah, I'm just, again, I'm so glad that I made this decision to go through this level 3 program. Like I almost kind of want to go through another level 3 program just to keep learning. I always say that I would like die happy if I could be a coach training student for the rest of my life. I love learning about coaching so much, and it's just been so fun. Yeah, learning how to up level to MCC. And I promise that I will keep you all updated when my recordings pass and I pass my exam and I officially get my MCC credential. I'll probably do a whole episode on that as well. Because that's huge. If there's only I know there's more than 1,200 now, but because that was 4 years ago. But yeah, to hold an MCC credential is a really big fucking deal. So yeah, we're going to celebrate it together. And if after listening to this, if you are like, I want to be a coach training student, I want to have an ICF credential behind my last name, I want to feel credible and professional and be a part of the top gold standard of coaches in the world, then you should get your butt over in the Born a Coach Training Academy. Okay, we are enrolling now and we still have spots left for you. And nothing would make me happier than to be your coach, trainer, and mentor this year, to teach you everything I know about becoming a certified coach and incorporating the ICF code of ethics and core competencies into your coaching structure, and just training you to become one of the world's best coaches. I would just absolutely love that so much. So if you're yes, that sounds like a good time, I'm in. I know Krista's meant to be my coach, trainer, and mentor. Then after this, below the show notes, check out the Born to Coach Training Academy sales page, and all the program details are listed out there already. And if everything looks good from there, you're welcome. You can either book an enrollment call with me if you want to if you have more personal questions, you want to talk a little bit more about the program, or if you know you're already in, you can click any of the buttons on the sales page. It'll bring up your different tuition options. You just go ahead and pay. And then from there, we send you a welcome email, instant course access, and you get into the student Facebook group right away. And then you can get started training to become a PCC level coach like myself. So, all right, y'all. I need to go pick up my son Lincoln from daycare. Thanks for spending some time with me today. And kudos to you for just furthering your coaching training and education, being here to listen to this today. It is one of the best gifts that you can give to yourself, your future, your business, your future clients. Trust me, your clients will be greatly, greatly thanking you for any training and education and ICF credentials that you get to put in your background. All right, I'll see you in the next episode. Hey guys, there's one more thing that I thought of that I wanted to add to this episode that I thought of yesterday that I think is important for all of you to hear. And I remember on the first day of my class in my level 3 program, we were going around the Zoom room, we were introducing ourselves, and the first line that I started off with is, I feel like I am such an imposter being here. And that's truly how I felt at the time, because there was 6 other students in the class and from all over the world, and they were very established coaches and were working for corporations, like setting up their coaching leadership programs and running those, and then we had a therapist who works with like celebrities all over the world. And so I was just feeling very inadequate. I had comparatinitis really bad, and I was just like discrediting all the work that I've done over the past 8 years of being a professional life coach, working with hundreds of private clients, starting my own ICF accredited coach training program, training coaches how to coach at the PCC level. You know what I mean? Like, isn't that crazy that like I was like way more than qualified to be in this program and to train at the MCC level, but my brain was trying to tell me that I wasn't, and that everything that I had done wasn't good enough. And that's like just mind-blowing to me, because I think it just goes to show that like imposter syndrome, it's always there. It's always going to creep up as we're going for these new levels of successes. And then even 8 years later as a coach, it'll still show up. And I know there's a lot of actually science and research to back this up too, of like imposter syndrome it's a real thing. And some of the most brilliant and greatest inventors and entrepreneurs and leaders of our time will still have this feeling of like, I don't deserve these accolades or this money or this success. I didn't earn it. I'm a fraud. I'm a fake. So, but the cool thing was when we had our graduation ceremony, our closing out question was, what are you celebrating and how are you going to celebrate it? And there was a couple other questions. And she said, like, how do you feel like your coaching changed this program? How do you feel like you changed as a person? And I was like journaling on those. And then all of a sudden, like, I just felt these like big tears well up in my eyes. And I was like, okay, guys, I got to go. I got to share. Something's coming up. And I told them, I was like, I don't know if you all remember, but 6 months ago, I started off the first class saying I felt like an imposter being here. And today, I no longer feel like an imposter anymore. I feel very worthy and deserving to go after my MCC credential and I feel like I've earned my place in this classroom, in this seat, in this program. And I was just like bawling my eyes out as I was saying that. And it wasn't sad tears. That's the first thing she said. Those sad tears? I was like, no, it's just like, it was releasing tears. It was releasing those outdated stories and beliefs of that I'm not worthy to be an MCC level coach. And it was a really, really beautiful moment. And I wanted to make sure to share that with all of you. Just in case, you're feeling like that in any area of your life. I know a lot of coaches go through the imposter syndrome thing, like, kind of, who am I to help others? And even if you do have evidence of success and people hiring you, making money in your coaching business, a lot of times they're still like, oh, I'm not good enough. And all this just crazy shit can come up in our minds. So yeah, that's my success story right there. So, all right. Thanks so much, guys. And I will see you in that next episode. I'm so grateful that our paths have crossed at this time. And if you're ready to up-level your coaching skill set and learn how to confidently coach at the transformational PCC level in order to help your clients get bigger breakthroughs and better results, then join our Born to Coach Training Academy at buildyourlifecoachingbiz.com/certification.